See two moose.
What?
Two moose.
Over at the big hill?
Yeah. This big mountain, you come down to the left, you see where it saddles, where it kind of flattens out.
I think so.
And then you see that road where the saddle, like it just cuts through the saddle. There may be like 300 yards on that road, and then below that. Today is August 6th, and my brother and I were out here on another bear hunt. And so today we hiked into a spot where I hunted last year. I saw a bunch of bears, but just never had an opportunity to shoot one, or at least I did. I just decided not to shoot one. And so we hiked in here, and it's pretty late, but the thing about this spot is, like, as soon as you get out of the car, you're already hunting. You know, it's one of those things where you weigh out, it's like, do I want to just hike in the dark and get to this spot first light, or do I just want to go in a little late as soon as I start hunting, or as soon as I get out of the car, I just start hunting. So opted to sleep in a little bit and just start hunting while we worked our way here. But we didn't really see anything. And we're just glassing this big old mountainside. 1 white-tailed doe, 3 moose, no bears. So we're just gonna post up, glass. Today's a perfect day too. It's supposed to be raining in the next 2 hours, or it's already been raining, but it's gonna keep raining for like 2 hours, and then it should just die off, and then it should just be cloudy. I'd be happy with that one. I saw like the tip of his head, and I was like, what the heck? Like that's kind of weird. And I thought it was a moose, so I didn't care about it. I was glassing all over the place, and then it kind of went up a little bit. I was like, dude, that's not the color of a moose. You'd think that it's like you're just gonna spot them, but dude, it's thick over there. Those brush are a lot higher than those bears. But guys, we've been just sitting here picking apart, glassing the same spots over and over and over and over again, and just picked out bear number 2. This one's slightly above the one I first spotted, and this one is in a little bit better position in terms of getting an opportunity. Still color phased, not a black bear. That's probably why we're having such a hard time spotting these bears, because those regular black bears, like the black colored black bears, they stand out like a sore thumb, because like black is pretty easy to spot. But when you're looking at these more earth tone colored bears, man, they blend in really good. And the thing is, like, we're glassing a pretty old clear cut, so a lot of those bushes are like anywhere from 5 to 15, even 20 feet tall. And so you think from here looking at it, it looks like it's very open, but the reality is it's not open. It's pretty thick over there. So a bear can literally just be sitting under a little pine tree, and it will just be covered in brush. I think that's why we're having such a hard, it's not, I think that's exactly why we're having such a hard time spotting these bears. But be patient and just glass the same spots over and over until one of those bears goes into the more open spots, and you pick them apart. He's just feeding on huckleberries, man. Like we say, man, find the huckleberries, find the bears. I spotted that second bear. I was glassing around, and then I just see this big old black blob to the top left of where we spotted those 2 bears. And I was like, dude, if this is not a bear, then that's a moving stump. And I put the spotter on it. That's a mondo of a bear. They're literally in the same general vicinity. On that mountainside, there's a bunch of roads, right? So you have like the top road that cuts high, another road below, another road below, another road below. And all 3 bears that we spotted are in that same section between the same 2 roads. It's just that one's right, one's in the middle, one's to the left. One thing we're gonna do first before we make a move on any of them is confirm that they don't have cubs. As of right now, the first 2, I don't think they have any cubs. This one, I don't think it has any cubs either. But we're gonna be patient because we have the whole day. It's not even hot. We have perfect conditions today. It's raining way off in the distance. It's cool. I don't think the bears are gonna rest anytime soon. So pretty much after we saw all those bears and it started raining, we just hunkered down and pretty much just waited out the storm. The fog rolled in, so we couldn't unglass anymore. And right before the fog got really heavy, I actually spotted bear number 5, and he was just like 60 yards above where I saw that jet black bear. He was a pretty nice sized bear too. By the time I got the spotter on him, he was already kind of out of view, but I got just a little glimpse of him. And then after that, it's just been nothing but fog. Because the thing is, if we go on that side, which I'm planning to, then the wind will largely dictate how we're going to set up or how we're going to hunt. Because if the wind's bad, then we'll have to work around that. And given that these bears are in pretty thick stuff, we don't have a lot of options to play around with. So right now, we're just drying out our stuff. So once our gear gets a little bit more dry, we'll hike on over there. And then we'll test the wind and see what's our best bet. Because the bears, I know they're in there. We just don't see them right now, but I know they're just bedded in there somewhere. And usually they're not bedded far from where you've seen them eating, because there's no point for a bear to leave like 600 yards away just to go rest and then come back to that spot just to eat. If they have food there and they have cover there, they're just gonna literally sleep right next to where their food is. So alright, so it's right around 2:05, and so what we did was we looped all the way around to get onto the mountain that we saw all those bears. We're faced with quite a bit of dilemmas. Mainly it's just visibility. This mountainside is pretty much a very old clear cut, and so it's pretty overgrown. That makes it difficult to have the right angle to where the bears are. Right now we don't see any bears, but we know that the bears are just on the other side of this little ridge. We actually found the tree, the exact tree where we spotted the second bear this morning because of this rock. So what we're hoping for is later on, hopefully one of those bears or that same second bear will feed back over into this little clearing where we're looking at right now. Right out here, it's about 300 yards, which is plenty doable. So I just got my gun set up on the stump. This stump's a pretty solid rest. So if we're fortunate enough to have a bear show up in that clear cut or on the road, that should be a night of packing out meat right there. But the downfall is, like, what if the bear doesn't feed back towards us? The bear just feeds onto the other side where those two big bears were and where the first original bear was. I don't know, it's a lot of risk and guessing right now, but that's just hunting. So we're just gonna post up and see what the rest of today brings. Alright, so it is 3:05 p.m. So we've sat here for exactly 1 hour. And earlier when we first got here, down at the very bottom there's this very old road. And when we first got here, we spotted a cow moose and a calf right there. All day we hiked over here, we got here, and that moose, those two moose were still there. And then we were just kind of chilling around. I looked back and those two moose were just gone. Like, they just disappeared. So I thought they were just bedded down. Well, 30 minutes later, glass down there, and I see this little head just keep like eating brush. Long story short, it's actually a bear, and it's a decent sized bear, 630 yards. But that's a good sign that it's only 3 o'clock and these bears are already back up on their feet and feeding. Alright, it's August 8th, so it's 2 days after the first portion of this video. 2 days ago, we sat there, nothing showed up, so we just left and went back home. Spent yesterday just kind of resting and just repacking, and then this morning we made our way back up to the same area where we saw all those bears and got back to the same glassing knob. We just glassed up a couple bears. So we spotted 2 bears on that side. I'm sure there's more, but there's one nice one. He's in a very killable position, so my dad and I, we're gonna bomb our way over there. Alright, so my dad and I, we worked all the way around. This is the same exact stump that you guys saw my brother and I sitting at previously. And so we worked over here and we were just glassing around. And again, it's very bad visibility here. And earlier we saw a big bear. He hiked from the top of the mountain, crossed the road, came through this patch, crossed the road again, and then went down closer to the road below that. And I was just sitting here glassing, and then I just got a glimpse of that bear just moving. Like I literally just saw a black dot just move away. And then I tried to put my camera on it, but I think he was already gone. So all we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna wait, and we'll see if any bear comes back and feeds into this little opening. Alright guys, so we were just sitting up there, nothing, so we decided to just start walking around. Basically we're just walking the road. We turn onto the backside of the mountain and look up in this little clear cut. There's just a little black speckle. Threw my binos up. It's a bear feeding around 490 yards, but he's in some thick stuff, and basically it's I take this shot or I have no shot, because if we're gonna move any closer, the thick's too tall, we're not gonna see it. So he's just feeding around, but we're gonna keep tabs on him. I'm gonna glass around, and if he pops up into a more clear spot where I can get a better shot, I'll take that shot, but no rush. I need to stop shaking. I'm cold. Adrenaline's pumping.
Tự rùa là có đỏ nào. Ok, giống rùa luôn. Cho ra giá tại giống có ok, giờ tới là có giống đồ này.
Okay, go ready though.
Yeah. Ok, giống đồ luôn. Chỉ có giờ đồ chỉ đồ. Tôi tự có giống luôn nè.
Alright, let's look at the footage. What the heck? I look back on my camera, it looks like I hit over him. I got on him, I dialed 9.5 MOA. That should have been dead on. But maybe I just pulled the trigger. When I laid crosshairs on him, man, I was like, this bear is not gonna escape this. I shot and I saw the reaction through the scope. He just, like, I think the bullet hit him and he looked and then he ran, which I don't think I hit him, but who knows, maybe we just got a full pass through and he just had a delayed reaction. But we're gonna give it a couple of minutes here, and then we're gonna go over and try to see if we can find blood. We hiked our way into this thick stuff, and I believe this is exactly where the bear was when I shot him. No blood, nothing yet. Trying to figure out what happened is more important than filming right now. So I'm gonna cut off on the filming a little bit and just see if there's any sign that we hit him. If not, then I'm okay with the clean miss. My dad and I, we searched around the area for an hour, 20 minutes. No sign of a wounded bear, no hair, no fur, no blood, no nothing. So just what I've seen on my camera and the reaction of the bear and the sign that we saw or we didn't see when we went and looked where we shot him, it all just adds up to that it was a clean miss. So in that moment, he was at the edge of that clearing, and I was afraid that he was gonna, just take a couple steps and then completely disappear from my shooting window. And so I'm not making any excuses. I simply rushed it and I just missed. At least there's closure to it. I'm pretty happy that there's closure to that bear, that encounter. But I don't know, bittersweet, I guess. Can't really say anything else. $4:00 p.m. My dad and I, we've been waiting all day. Saw nothing, and we literally said 4:00. Once it hits 4:00, we're gonna hike all right back to the car because we're a bit away from the car. We packed up. I said, I'm gonna glass one last time. And sure enough, there's a big black blob. I think it's the same exact bear. So we're sneaking into position, and we'll see if we get a second chance at this bear. He was right in this little opening when I saw him. And then he was about 550 yards or something like that. And then I decided to run up the road. Right now we're right around 430 yards. We lost sight of the bear because he was feeding in some thick stuff. So all he had to do was take a couple steps and then he was, again, out of view. So we're just going to be patient right now and see if we can relocate him. And hopefully this time, I don't miss. My dad and I, we are 5.5 miles in. And so as much as I want to wait out that bear to see if I can get a shot off, we don't have enough time. My dad didn't even bring a flashlight. We're basically out of food and we're just too far back in here to hold out any longer. So wouldn't have had to come down to this if I just didn't miss in the first place, but that's hunting. I'm just glad I did not wound that bear and it was just a clean miss. No bear today, but you better bet we'll be back out